911, what's the location of the emergency?
My daughter is missing.
What's your address, ma'am?
She's gone. We can't find her anywhere. I've called all her friends.
How old is she?
11.
Okay, what's her name, ma'am?
Carlie, Carlie.
And last name?
Brucia, Brucia.
Sarasota, Florida. It was a quiet Sunday evening in February 2004. 11-year-old Carlie Brucia had just spent the weekend at a friend's house and was on her way home. The walk should have taken only minutes, but it turned into something that would haunt an entire nation. What made this case unforgettable was that part of the crime was captured by a surveillance camera at a local car wash. The grainy footage shows a young girl walking, unaware of the danger that was about to change her life forever. Moments later, a man steps into her path, exchanges a few words, and then seizes her by the arm. In seconds, she vanishes from view. When the footage was released, it shocked millions. Viewers were horrified, not only because of what they were seeing, but because it happened in broad daylight. This was the last time Carlie was ever seen alive. A Sunday that changed everything. February 1st, 2004 was Super Bowl Sunday. Carlie had been staying with a friend, but she wanted to make it home in time to watch the game with her family. She told her friend's mother she was allowed to walk back by herself. It was still early evening. The neighborhood was familiar, and Carlie was confident. Around 6 p.m., she set out on the short trip home. But not long after, her friend's mother called Carlie's mom, Susan, to let her know Carlie was walking alone. Susan felt uneasy. Even a short walk can feel unsafe when it involves a child. She immediately sent her husband, Carlie's stepfather, Steve, to pick her up. Steve drove along the route Carlie should have been taking, but she was nowhere to be found. For nearly an hour, he circled the streets, hoping he had simply missed her. By the time he returned home without Carlie, panic had set in. The 911 call. At 7:30 p.m., Susan dialed 911. Her voice trembled with fear as she reported that her daughter was missing. She explained that Carlie had started walking home, but never arrived. It had only been an hour and a half, but deep down, she already feared the worst. Police issued a "be on the lookout" alert immediately. Officers began combing the area, while family and friends created flyers with Carlie's face on them. That night, search teams and volunteers scoured the streets, but despite their efforts, there was no trace of Carlie. Suspicious leads. At first, investigators considered possibilities close to home. Carlie's stepfather, Steve, was questioned because he was the last family member to see the route she would have taken. Detectives wanted to rule him out quickly, and Susan confirmed his alibi. Still, police were desperate for answers and followed every possible lead. Another name surfaced: Ron, the boyfriend of Carlie's friend's mother. His red tow truck had been seen driving slowly through the area while the family searched. Investigators spoke with him, but his co-workers confirmed he had been at work during the critical time. That lead also went nowhere. For a short while, police even considered whether Carlie might have run away. A friend mentioned Carlie had been upset the night before, saying she didn't want to go home because of responsibilities she felt weighed down by. But Susan firmly insisted Carlie had never run away before and would not have vanished willingly. The truth would come soon enough, and it was far more horrifying. The breakthrough. The following day, police brought in tracking dogs to aid the search. The dogs followed Carlie's scent to a car wash located along a shortcut she often took. There, investigators made a discovery that would turn the case upside down. The car wash manager reviewed his surveillance cameras and found disturbing footage. At 6:30 p.m., the exact time Carlie was expected to be walking home, the cameras captured her being confronted by a man. In the video, he walks casually at first as though passing by, but at the last moment he blocks Carlie's path, grabs her by the arm, and forces her away. Carlie's parents quickly confirmed the girl in the tape was their daughter. The images were broadcast across the nation. The suspect appeared to be a white male, average height, dark hair, with tattoos on his forearms. He wore what looked like a mechanic's jumpsuit with a name patch, though the name was unreadable. The release of this footage transformed the investigation. No longer was this a possible runaway case. It was clearly an abduction. Joseph Smith. Tips flooded in as the public studied the video. Many callers identified the man as Joseph Smith, a 37-year-old auto mechanic with a long criminal record. His history included drug charges and violent offenses, even kidnapping and false imprisonment. At the time of Carlie's disappearance, Smith was on probation for drug crimes. Co-workers and acquaintances confirmed the resemblance. One even noticed that Smith seemed nervous and erratic at work the day after Carlie vanished. Another recalled that Smith often borrowed a yellow station wagon, a vehicle seen near the car wash around the time of the abduction. Police went to question Smith at the home where he was staying. At first, he denied everything, insisting he had been home watching the Super Bowl. But detectives noticed tattoos on his arms matching the suspect in the video. He also had fresh scratches on his hands. When pressed about the yellow station wagon, Smith admitted he had borrowed it the night Carlie disappeared. His story didn't match up with witness statements. Soon after, officers found drugs in his broken-down car, giving them grounds to arrest him on probation violations. Behind bars, Smith continued to insist on his innocence, but the walls were closing in. A brother's revelation. While Smith sat in custody, his own brother John came forward with shocking information. He told investigators that Joseph had confessed to him. According to John, Joseph admitted to abducting and harming Carlie, but claimed he was high on drugs and didn't remember everything clearly. John even described a phone call where Joseph admitted to choking Carlie too hard. These disturbing details led police to believe Smith had not only kidnapped her, but ended her life in a brutal way. On February 5th, 5 days after Carlie disappeared, John guided investigators to a wooded area behind a church just a few miles from her home. There, police discovered Carlie's body, partially concealed. The autopsy later confirmed she had been killed by strangulation. The community's worst fears had come true: the trial. Joseph Smith was charged with kidnapping, assault, and first-degree murder. The evidence was overwhelming: the car wash footage, his confession to his brother, DNA evidence, and forensic traces in the borrowed vehicle. The trial began in 2005. Prosecutors painted Smith as a dangerous repeat offender who should have never been free. They emphasized his history of violent behavior and his opportunity to strike when he saw Carlie walking alone. In October 2005, the jury found Smith guilty on all counts. By early 2006, the judge handed down the ultimate punishment: death by lethal injection. For Carlie's family, justice had been served, but their pain was immeasurable. Susan, her mother, later said that no sentence could undo what happened to her daughter. Legal battles and resentencing. Years later, Smith's case returned to court. In 2017, Florida law changed, requiring a unanimous jury decision to impose the death penalty. Since Smith's original jury had voted 10-2, his sentence was vacated. He was scheduled for a new sentencing hearing. But before that could take place in 2021, Joseph Smith died in prison while awaiting resentencing. For many, it felt like an incomplete ending. Justice served, yet without the closure of a final sentence. The legacy. Carlie's case left a lasting mark on Florida and beyond. Outrage spread over the fact that Smith had been free at all, despite a long list of prior convictions and repeated probation violations. This frustration inspired proposals for Carlie's law, aimed at tightening probation enforcement to prevent dangerous offenders from slipping through the cracks. Though the bill did not pass exactly as proposed, it sparked broader reforms and raised awareness about the dangers posed by repeat offenders. Today, nearly 2 decades later, Carlie is still remembered as the girl whose final moments were captured in that chilling video. A reminder of how quickly life can change and how vigilance and reform remain necessary to protect children. The abduction of Carlie Brucia shocked America not only because of the crime itself, but because it was seen by millions. That video, etched into public memory, stands as one of the most haunting reminders of child safety in modern history. Joseph Smith's death in prison closed one chapter, but Carlie's story continues to resonate. Her case is a tragic lesson about repeat offenders, about the cracks in the system, and about the importance of protecting the most vulnerable among us. What do you think? Should stricter probation laws be enforced to prevent cases like this from happening again? Let us know in the comments. And if you want more true crime stories told with respect and detail, don't forget to subscribe.